All right. What do we got going on right now? So, everything's done here so far. I've got the epoxy on the top to kind of stiffen the wing a little bit. Let that dry. I've kind of epoxied everything. Servos are installed. Flight deck is here, waiting for the ESC to get here. 90 millimeter EDF is in there. 6,000 milliamp battery is in there. Definitely has the push for this, and I've done the wing measurement. I've done the measurements as far as the wing area and the lift is concerned. I did it in a CA2 or something like that. I think anyway, I forget the wing data profile. It's like a B2 style, but the ailerons are there. This is going to be elevon control. Obviously, that's the sort of the battery hatch to kind of hold it in. You got your battery bay down at the bottom right there. Don't know if you can see it, but there you go. ESC compartment, and then of course the flight deck controller. So we are going to end up how to launch this I haven't quite figured out yet. I know everyone's like probably staring at that sign over there. I was wondering if I should do an angled catapult with these remaining rods, because then I can just, you know, print some sections so I can make it into the square to kind of fit the underbelly here. So when it takes off, you know, you got a rail on each side, and then use a bungee cord. Thought about doing it that way. I thought about even hand launching it, but I don't want to hand launch it because I'm afraid I'm going to just nosedive it. Another thing I thought about doing is making a cart with some TPU wheels, so that it's the battery tray actually acts as sort of how it connects it to the cart, and then as it rolls forward, when I get lift, it just leaves the cart on the ground and I belly landed on the grass. Because initially, get the battery out, I had these hand launches right here, and everyone's like, that'll cause a lot of drag. It won't, trust me. I've already done the CFD analysis. So basically the idea is that I was going to hand launch it, but with the angle of this, I'm sort of afraid to, and it's a little bit heavier than your conventional wing. So, but that's going to put out a lot of power. I mean, a lot of power. It puts out enough thrust. So I've already done my all-up weight against what the thrust is being produced. I know how fast this needs to go before it generates lift. We do have plenty of aileron surface, so it's going to have some definite maneuverability authority. Other than that, all I'm really waiting for is some CA hinges to show up in the mail. I have some really decent hardened steel hardware that we're going to use to put everything together. Servos are in already. As you can see, they've been run through the channels, back out to here, and up above here to the RX platform. ESC, I measured, obviously, before I designed this. That'll slide into here, and the air coming in will keep it cool. And then we'll tuck all the wires in there. And everything will be buttoned up pretty nice. The only thing I didn't do on this one, which I'll do on the next one, if I decide to make any changes, is I forgot to add a channel in the body somewhere for the battery cable to come up and connect to the ESC. So it'll kind of be draping over here and then going underneath here. Not a real big deal. It is a first print. So that's how we cool our battery as we're going. Right there. Overall, I think it's a decent design. I think it'll work fairly well. And fingers are crossed. So, I mean, it's definitely got some wing area. Especially with those ailerons, you can see I've got some decent wing area here. And with that 90 millimeter pushing it, it's got the power, that's for sure. So 90 millimeter, 2100 kV. It's running at 6S, 22.2 volts, 6,000 milliamp, 100C battery. I also have a 50C, 5,000 milliamp battery, which is a little bit lighter. Takes about 100 grams off the weight, which I may also try. So keep that in mind as as we get ready to get this thing out to the field, because we still obviously are waiting on some of the major expensive parts for this stuff. And I had a lot of this here, so the only thing I had to get was the CA hinges, and I think a 120 amp ESC, but just it's a standard one. It's not a, we're not using a flight controller on this. This is all straight Sbus, old school stereo bus. You know, like back in the olden days. So that's how you knew how to fly, is when you didn't have auto stabilization for everything. So that's where we're going with this one. And in order for it to actually maintain level flight, it's got to rip. So I think the estimated wide open throttle was 145 to 150 miles an hour, and the cruising speed is a little around 100, close to 80 to 115. So that's a good cruising speed. Stall speed, I think, is around what was it, 35, 40 miles an hour for stall speed. We don't want to hit that, but you know, we'll see how it does on those belly landings. Great part about 3D printing is if you break something, you can always, you know, cut off the broken section and then go into your Bamboo Studio and slice it and glue it back on. Everything will be fine. It's half the fun of doing this, right? Seeing if it explodes on re-entry. Other than that, that's what we got going on. So stick around. There'll be a flight soon. Thanks for watching.